Welcome back to MMAOddsBreaker. I'm Frank Trigg. Today we're talking to Myles Jury getting ready to fight Takanori Gomi in Saitama Super Arena in Saitama, Japan. Originally from Hazel Park, Michigan. I just hung up with Johnny Case, your teammate, who's also fighting on that card. Of course, you're the co-main event. He's earlier in the card. I think he's the second fight of the night. I asked him the same question. Can you explain your journey going from Hazel Park, Michigan and ending up in San Diego? Like, how did that end up happening?
Yeah, no problem. Pretty much I grew up right in the Hazel Park area and started doing martial arts there. And I had an amateur career in MMA, and I even had my first couple of pro fights there. And when I was about 7 or 8-0, I had the opportunity to go out and help Jeremy Stevens train for a UFC fight. He was getting ready to fight Sam Stout. I believe it was UFC. It was the one woman in Canada. But anyways, he brought me out, and I trained with him for a solid 4 months or 4 weeks leading up to the fight. And I could just see the difference in the training. You know, the coaching out there and the training partners. They're just a wealth of knowledge out there. So I literally went back home and told my mom and everybody that, like, hey, think about going back out there. And I talked to Jeremy, and one thing led to another, and I just ended up staying with him for 6 months. Just stayed out there and never looked back.
You know, and it's a little, everyone's got their own little journey of how they end up where they're at. You know, obviously my journey to Vegas is pretty well storied. And then, but then you look at this, you look at your record. And so you go back in and you go, okay, well, he started in Michigan and, you know, he kind of made the jump, hopefully, so you could jump into the UFC and be in, you know, be in a space and you know, get some tough competition. Now, you're 14-0. Right now, I was talking, Takanori's been around. I commentated a bunch of Takanori's fights when he was fighting for Pride. He's 35-9. He's almost one of the legends at this point, but still fighting. So he can't be a legend yet because he's still fighting in the game. People don't realize that you actually had 6 amateur fights before you jumped pro. That you're undefeated as well. So you're actually closer to being 20-0 if you add in your amateur fights. And you've actually fought some pretty tough guys along your way. Joel Robertson, King of the Cage. Brad Johnson in Michigan Fight League. You had Tyrone Holmes in King of the Cage as well. Sam Opreza in King of the Cage. Michael Johnson back in the your debut, or excuse me, your second fight out in the UFC at 155. Mike Ricci in the UFC 165, and then of course Diego Sanchez, your last fight at 171. And it's been, you've kind of fought the who's who before they were the who's who, and now they are the who's who. They're giving you another named opponent. Like, is that what you thrive on? Is getting these named guys when everyone's gonna, you know, obviously. In Japan, Takanori's going to have a much bigger name than you will. It's just how it works. It's how Japanese fans work. They're going to be behind him the entire time. Your co-main event. Is that what you thrive on? Is that kind of a underdog position kind of what pushes you?
Yeah, I love it, man. I love, like you said, fighting names. You know, obviously this is my career, and you know, fighting names, man. It's just, you know, I've been doing this stuff since I was a kid, you know, and it's just easy for me to get motivated when, you know, Joe Silva says, hey, you want to fight Takanori Gomi? I'm like, done, you know, let's run it, you know, let's do it. So, you know, I started training when I was younger. I had my first amateur fight when I was 15. So, you know, I've been in the sport, you know, even though I've only been in this UFC for a couple of years, I've been in the sport for a while. So it's, you know, it's just a thing of motivation. Like, before I break into the top 3 and get that belt, like, you know, obviously that's where I'm headed. But before then, it's like, you know, I just really want to, fight names, man. Like I said, it's motivating me. It's easy to get up and go spar and wrestle and do all that stuff and do conditioning and sprints when I know I'm fighting somebody like a Diego or you know, a guy like Gomi or, you know, somebody coming off some impressive wins.
Did you look at the Diego fight between Diego and Takanori? And did you take much from that fight, or did you just look at it as like it's totally different styles, you know, different ball game? It's really not much I can pull from that fight.
I mean, I took a little bit of both what you said there. You know, I looked at the fight, and you know, I kind of seen what Diego did good, and you know what Gomi did good against Diego. And at the same time, you know, I can't really hold on to too much of that though, because like you said, it's I'm a totally different fighter than Diego and a lot of the other people that Gomi has fought. So it's kind of hard sometimes putting myself into, you know, like other people's bodies when I'm watching fights and kind of seeing what I would do. Because, I mean, I'm totally different style. You know, I mix it up really well, and I'm a lot more unpredictable than a lot of the guys Gomi has fought.
So what do you think Gomi is going to be improved upon when you get ready to fight him? Do you think he's actually improved much over his last several fights, or is he pretty much the same guy that we saw, 5-6 years ago?
I'm prepared for the Gomi of the old days. I'm prepared for the Gomi that's gonna come out there and throw bombs and defend takedowns and bust you up. So I'm definitely preparing for the best Gomi. But over the years of watching Gomi, I don't really see too much evolution. I feel like he still goes in there and likes to throw his hands and defend takedowns and keep on the feet. So. You always got that X factor of him trying to take you down and stuff like that. But I got guys trying to take me down all the time, so my body will adjust to that if he wants to do that. But on paper, I definitely see him, trying to knock me out with the hands.
What special defense have you been working on to take care of the left-handed style of Gomi, where he kind of throws from a weird angle, he kind of steps away, he's unpredictable, and every punch he throws, he kind of wings for the fences. He doesn't really set anything up. And, like you said, if he's the Gomi of old, as opposed to throwing, 25 or 35 punches around, he'll up the pace about 55 or 65.
Yeah, definitely. I don't really go into exactly how I'm gonna counter all that, but what I do in my training though is get guys that are gonna fight like him.
No one listens to my interviews, and Gomi's Japanese, he doesn't even speak English, so he won't even understand what you're saying. So you can tell us everything you want.
It's all good. No, honestly, man, I'm just gonna like in my training, man. Like I have the guys that emulate Gomi, so obviously move my head, not standing there and letting them not trade shots with them. But the big thing is just getting the bodies, like you said, he likes to throw punches from weird angles. He really chucks his hands, man, and he used to be a pitcher, so he likes to throw that power shots, and he's really getting guys that don't respect me and that are trying to take my head off and throw a lot of hands at me.
Yeah, see, this matchup is going to be a good matchup. I think both you guys will be able to bring it for this one. It's also going to be a big game of who's got the ground game a little bit more solid. And of course, we all know about the Alliance coaching staff. Who's your favorite coach? Like, who's your favorite coach right now? Without saying, without being, this is the guy that is my go-to coach. He's my, he's my overall favorite coach. When it's time to run practices and time to go in and you got to get stuff together, who's your favorite coach?
It would have to be Eric Del Firo, man. He's obviously the head guy that kind of controls everything. But at the same time, it just depends, if it's a jiu-jitsu day, then it's going to be, or a grappling day, it's going to be Neil. If it's a striking day, it's going to be Eric. If it's going to be a wrestling day, it's going to be, Dominic Cruz or Brian Heck and those guys. So, each coach has, like, their special touch that they add to the team. But Eric's the guy that kind of is at the top and kind of, says, hey, I want you to work with this coach, or, I want you working on this. So yeah, I would have to say Eric I have the best relationship with.
Who's the toughest one to get along with, coach-wise? Not saying that he's bad or you hate him or whatever, just the one that's kind of tough to get along with.
Oh, it's we have a wrestling coach, Brian, and we kind of clashed in the beginning because I'm not used to I guess you can kind of say like that grimy type of wrestling style, where he comes into practice and he's just like, hey, grab a partner, 10 minutes of double legs, 10 minutes of single legs, 10 minutes of sprawls, 10 minutes defense, all right, live, 5 minutes go, I like a little bit more structure to my program, and instead of just like, grinding 24/7 like that. So we kind of butted heads and, I kind of clashed with them in the beginning, like, why am I doing this? I feel like, I'm just going to get hurt and with all the rest of my training. But after sitting down with the coaches and, kind of talking to him and not getting emotional about it, he kind of explained that, it's for the mentality. I'm a very elusive fighter. I'm very technical. But something I want to add to my game, too, is being able to grind people out, work on that part of my game, too. And that's what those practices are for. So once I kind of understood why he was having us go through those certain things, I kind of accepted it more, and we're getting along a lot better now. But I would probably say that was a difficult coach to get along with in the beginning.
I actually know Brian really well, and that's exactly it's the same. That's his style, man. That's just how he coaches. That's how he goes, and he does grind. He is a grinding type of coach, and that was also his style when he competed. That he would just grind you out, and he won a lot of matches that way. He beat up a lot of really technical guys by being more of a grinder than the guy in front of him. The guy was an amazing technician, and then he'd get a hold of you and be like, okay, sometimes you just got to grind a guy out. So you just have to. It's just how it works. So. Yeah, it's tough. I can totally understand the point you're coming from, and Brian and I have been close friends for a long time, so I totally know that that's his personality too. He will grind you down. He will.
Oh yeah, man. It makes you wanna flip out. Like, you know, what the hell? Like, you got like some sick vendetta against me? Are you just trying to make me flip out because, you know, all this damn wrestling and hand fighting and drilling? Like, I was just like, man, like you're killing me here. But once again, you know, I had to sit back and really look at it. Like, you know, that's the truth, man. Is I need that type of grind, and I need that type of work. You know, if I want to get to the next level and really evolve. And you know, I'd be lying to myself if I was just going to be like, oh, you know, he's not a good coach, and I'm going to go somewhere else, or I'm going to do something else. Like, I'd be cheating myself at the end of the day. So I just got to suck it up and go through that stuff.
That's great, Myles. Thanks for coming on MMA Oddsbreaker. I appreciate it. It's a great to finally talk to you and finally get you on here. Have fun in Japan. It's one of my favorite places. Saitama Super Arena is one of my favorite arenas throughout the entire world. To not only to sit there as a fan, but also to commentate in. It's a great venue. You will absolutely enjoy fighting in it. It's going to be a great time for you. Have fun over there and enjoy yourself. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Frank. I'm looking forward to it, and great talking to you, man. I will talk to you soon.
Bye now.
All right, see you.